he's going to go in there and talk about those free bases, because you saw how many trips he's made to Omaha, 6 out of the last 10 years. And the record that he has prior to this season is based on understanding the value of a walk on both sides of it, right? The offensive side and the pitching side of it. And, last night, Texas had, quite a few more, 8 free bases between walk and hit batsmen. LSU 0. And, boy, I tell you what, you don't give up any free bases, and really walks too, because if the walk part of it is every time, that's at minimum 4, but more times than not 5.5 pitches in an at bat when you're giving up walks. Well, every pitch that throws information for those hitters in there. And so that's why you see these two teams are two of the more disciplined offensive teams in the country. They see a lot of pitches, not afraid to go to 2 strikes. They're not afraid to see breakers over, but as a coach, you keep telling them, hey, every pitch you see, that's giving you more information, timing, what it looks like, how it shapes up.
Ball strike there, the fastball, and well, that will help you in your second trip. It might even help the guy in the on-deck circle behind you, right?
No, 100%. Everybody's got their eyes in the dugout peeled, or they better have their eyes peeled on the pitcher, and they're standing there acting like they're hitting kind of too, just for their timing.
Payoff pitch to Chris Stanfield. Up and away, ball 4, and he's now reached each of his first 2 trips. That's some pretty good speed aboard at first to begin this 5th.
Well, and just as we were talking about walks, one comes up, and I don't know the bullpen's just moving too terribly active, but when you get the leadoff guy on, I mean, it's 50-50, right, and being able to score, and now, going to the top of the order. Now we're going to the 3rd time through the lineup. But this is where it really gets to be interesting for pitchers. Is 3rd time a hitter's seen you already twice. And that move right there. One is to protect against a run, but also to maybe find out some information. That was one of those, hey, let's see if he's going to tip off that he might be dragging. Let's see if he slides up into the box and shows that he could be dragging and or stealing. Either one, or hit and run. There's a lot of different options. Now, typically, if it is in the past, an LSU team, you'd sit in and say, oh, they're swinging. They're just going to sit in there and hit tanks, try to hit tanks all night or hit homers. But this offense has been different this year when it's called for it.
And another pickoff throw. That's 3 in a row on Stanfield. For Luke Harrison, he still has taken a sizable jump from where he was a year ago, Ty, recovering off Tommy John surgery. Really struggled with command from start to finish in 2024.
Well, when you're injured, one of the hardest things is to get the feel back of where you're throwing a ball and how to throw it.
He's losing a little bit of it here, a hit by pitch. Just as we were talking about it, Ty, those freebies that hurt Texas considerably last night, all of a sudden it's set the table for LSU and perhaps their most dangerous hitter in Jared Jones.
Well, yeah, their slugging percentage-wise, I mean, this guy represents, LSU's offense from 28 homers a year ago, 8 homers already this year. Golden Spikes watch list. This guy's got a lot of power.
Look at these numbers. He's become even scarier. Batting average up 100 points. Strikeout rate cut in half.
Yeah, and if you dig into his numbers too, I mean, he's got 19 free bases versus 14 strikeouts. So it's not like you're going to be able to spin a breaker and holler boo and he's going to swing at it. That's not how it is. But sometimes with a lot of home run guys that are pull side homers, they'll spin off and you can throw them enough breakers or elevate and get them excited, and they'll get that barrel movement because they're so anxious to hit. But this is a qualified hitter that has power.
Pitching coach Max Weiner out to the mound, talking things over with Luke Harrison, rest of the infield. Dave Soucy comes out to usher along the conversation. But going back to Jared Jones, I thought Jay Johnson made a strong point last night. He was almost telling scouts, hey, this is not the same hitter you have evaluated the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, again, even if the numbers were good last
year. Yes, yes.
But the stroke has shortened.
Yes.
He's right. I mean, the swing is shortened, and the power now exists to all fields from foul pole to foul pole. He was hunting something middle in. We're going to get a second look. Looked like a cutter running into him.
And he has been so good, lethal. Close to 500 average with runners in scoring position for Jared Jones.
I mean, that's unreal.
And that's going to be the end of the day for Luke Harrison. Head coach Jim Schlossnagle shuffling out. And the Longhorns will go to the bullpen here in the top of the fifth. We'll be back with the new
and all the above.
And Max Grubbs, who was the Friday night starter the second half of last season, Ty, he has emerged in the back end of the bullpen this year for Texas. ERA below 1.
Well, if you're a Texas fan and you're used to seeing him late in games and you're going, wait a minute, this guy's been our closer, this is guy's been in there at the back end of it, and that's true with 4 saves, but hey, you're in a tight game. You're in a one-run game. You want to win on Saturday. Who's your best option? This guy. He's been their hottest guy out of the pen. Let's go to him.
And the first pitch backs up on Daniel Dickinson.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 89-90, right? It's a two-seamer with good sink. You know, his fastball's going to move left to right with some sink to it, a slider off of it, and then a split. But you're going to go to your best pitch, your best out pitch for him.
And the 3-2 is a fastball tapped foul.
Well, he swung at the fastball 2 pitches before and swung through it and missed a little sinker. This one had a little more juice to it at 92. The one before was 89-90.
First batter, Max Grubbs, is faced out of the pen here. Going to need at least 8 pitches. And ripped foul past the LSU dugout. He was a touch early on that fastball.
Well, for the right-handed hitters, that ball's running into them. So they've got to really do a good job. That front shoulder starts to come up. They've got to slide those hands in there and get that barrel inside of it. As it does, it'll keep running in on them.
See Grubbs shaking his head. There's the nod. With the 3-2 pitch, we'll have another one. Sticking with the fastball.
Yeah, it's been a steady dose of them. You know, sometimes you get committed to a pitch and you start going, well, now he's going to look for something different. And you're like, I'm just going to stay with what I've been throwing.
Got him. Max Grubbs. A huge first out as he wins the war against Daniel Dickinson.
Well, that was just a great battle between a really good pitcher and a good hitter. Finally goes to a slider after 5 straight fastballs. He goes after him with a slider, gets him out in front of it.
A pinch hitter coming up for the Tigers. This will be Jake Brown. Just bringing in the left-handed hitter off the bench, replacing Ethan Fry.
Well, this is that part of the LSU offense that just starts to make sense if you're Jay Johnson, meaning you got so many pinch hit opportunities matching up right, left. You know, if they got a left-hander, you got a right-hander. You got a right-hander, they got a left-hander. I mean, I told you before the game when I had them early in the year, they pinched hit in the 3-hole. In the 3-hole, that's normally your best hitter, right? In the 3 different hitters that night hit in the 3-hole for LSU. Tells you the depth that they've got off the bench.
If I'm on the LSU bench, that keeps me engaged.
Well, I meant that part of it, but they're able to match you up whether it's right or left.
Grubbs gets ahead, 0-2. I think this would be a good spot for that split against a left-handed hitter. Just outside with it.
Yeah, that one popped out of his fingers too early. And sometimes that, you know, the moisture in your fingers, just, you know, the baseball itself.
Here comes. Couldn't have dropped it in a better spot by Jake Brown as he flares one over the left side, and that's another run for LSU.
Yeah, Texas has just moved to a shift to the pull side. As you can see, Flores in the backs of the screen. Fly ball for him if he's in normal position, but they had him in close on a ball, just couldn't get there.
We've seen the shift work 2 or 3 times tonight for Texas. That time it worked against him. So RBI for Jake Brown off the bench, and now Stephen Milam. Switch hitter batting from the left side first time tonight. There was a silver lining from that. It did keep Jared Jones at second base. So it doesn't get to third with less than 2 outs. Not yet anyway, as that ball kicks off the glove of Galvan and both runners move up.
Yeah, I mean, the fastball just got away from him, and Galvan wasn't able to get his hand up, or his glove up, I should say, in time. Uncharacteristic between the two of them, because they, you know, last year spent a lot of time working together, Grubbs and Galvan.
The 2-0 is spoiled out of play. Well, now Ty things feel just a little bit bigger. Base hit could score 2 more runs, and with the way LSU has pitched this weekend, really throughout the season, 4 runs. I know we still got 5 innings, but that feels a little steep.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to give up any more if you can avoid it, but if you're Texas, but you're right. I mean, you know, LSU has thrown the ball so well this year, and their bullpen has been, you know, effective, and again, they're able to match you up right, left too, coming out of the pen.
Jared Jones a little taller than Josh Jordan out there at third base. 2-2. And hit high in Milam. 5-2 Tigers.
Well, the ball was just deep enough. Milam does a good job of getting to the bottom half of the ball, which you have the luxury of from the wild pitch before, or the pass ball, however it was scored before, moving the runners up to second and third. That's how critical that could be, or may be, because otherwise that's just runners still first and second with 2 outs now, but he was able to get to the bottom of it and get it out just far enough that Gasparino wasn't able to throw him out at the plate.
And it was scored a passed ball. So now here's Josh Pearson. This inning, it kind of, in some ways, a microcosm of what LSU's offense has been this year, which is versatile. Of course, they've hit some home runs this season, but you know, taking the extra base, sacrifice fly. Jared Jones hits a double.
Yeah, and now really so far, the only ball squared up is Jones this half inning.
Yeah, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a passed ball have helped the Tigers. We've cashed him in. And Pearson taps one foul, 1-2.
Because I've seen Max Grubb so much, and you know, last year, this year, that when he's right and when he's good, it's a lot of ground ball. You'll see guys swing over the top of his 2-seamer and over his breaker, and you know, even right and left-handed hitters. So when that ball's executing the way he wants to, you'll see a lot of foul balls like you've seen so far. Guys swing over the top of them.
Just hasn't gotten those ground balls in play yet. Pitching coach Max Weiner punching in the pitch call. And a bouncer, foul, first base side. LSU, they've really forced Grubbs to work here. It's just the fourth hitters he's faced, and he's got to throw his 25th pitch.
Yeah, at the first at bat was 8, right? Maybe 9 pitches. You know, the first hitter.
It's 10.
10, yeah. I mean, look, that starts to grind on you.
Jake Brown out at second. Oh, 2-2 to Pearson. And a ground ball wrap out towards Schussler. He smothers it. He'll step aboard the bag to retire the side. But LSU scores 3 runs on 2 hits.
Continued struggles, and they're injured. I mean, they've got and look, they lost Grahovac, and now they've lost. You know, Cedeo's been out, and then you know they've got a couple Stewarts out. I mean, it's just they've just had one injury after another, and then you go into Tennessee, just got after it after they got beat on Thursday night, and they come back and I mean just get busy yesterday and offensively, and again today. When I was paying attention to it, they'd already hit 4 homers in today's game, which is the 3rd game for them because they started on Thursday. And Georgia, who if you're a Texas fan, they'll be here in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to use the word quietly because they're ranked so highly, right? But man, just to go on the road and do that at Florida, I mean that's what they've done is pretty impressive.
Leadoff walk to Will Gasparino from Anthony Ianson. Look at the top 10 this week according to D1Baseball.com. See the 2 teams here tonight. And all in all, that's 6 SEC teams.
Yeah, SEC, ACC with 1 sprinkled.
An independent.
Big Ten, yeah, I know. That's 2. Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah, and Oregon in there too. I'm sorry. I mean, I've seen so many schools in their normal conferences.
Yes,
is that the right word? I'm not. You know what? Used
previous,
to be normal.
Yes,
previous. And man, I got to study it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oregon State opting to play as an independent in baseball this year. I say Oregon State, I mean. Yeah,
Oregon State did, and they played a bunch on the road. I had a chance to talk to their head coach earlier in the year, and they talked about, they're going to play over 65%, I think, of their games on the road this year.
RPI will be in good shape.
Well, yeah.
As long as you win a few.
And they've got a good-looking club. You're talking about physical. I mean, they've got some really good-looking athletes. They've got a really good-looking shortstop and some good arms. I mean, it's a good team.
1-2 on Tommy Farmer. 1-2 from Ianson. And a ground ball trickles foul, 3rd base side. A leadoff walk here from Will Gasparino, and you got Tommy Farmer in the 9th spot trying to battle. Texas hoping they can at least stick 1 run up there and answer those 3 from LSU in the top of the 5th.
Well, you want to answer anytime, but you just gave up 3 momentums in LSU's dugout. You need a response. At the bottom of your order, too, if you can get it kicked off at the bottom of your order and you swing it to the top, it'll start to make you feel good, too, if you're the Longhorns. Give them a chance. Give the guys that are at the top of your order a chance to maybe drive some guys in.
Strike 3 called. Ianson flutters one over the inside corner, and that is now 6 strikeouts for the righty.
And that ball acted almost like a backup curveball that'll react like a changeup, a front door breaker. Tommy Farmer thought it was going to stay in. Didn't. Caught just enough. I mean, just nibbled right at the edge of the corner of the plate.
Now a visit here from pitching coach Nate Yeski. Top of the order coming up for Texas. Anthony Ianson His pitch count now at 77. His season high is 95. That was a couple of weeks ago against North Alabama when he struck out 15. There's a look at the bullpen. William Schmidt, Connor Ware.
Well, they're double-barreled. I mean by that, they got one on each side, but I think they're going to stay with him, and they are.
And this is kind of an information gathering opportunity, too, for the LSU coaching staff. How does Anthony Ianson look third time through the order?
Yeah, I mean, that's correct. You know, that we talked about it an inning before. That third time, hitters just get used to seeing what you put them away with or how they've gotten you out. And if they did make a mistake on you in either of those sequences of at-bats, you get to see how they do it, right? And it's hard to come back around that third time and fool them with something they hadn't seen.
So Ethan Mendoza jumps in the first pitch and ropes it over the head of Dickinson. Gasparino had to wait and see if it was caught, but he'll still get to third with the wheels. And now runners in the corners for Texas.
Well, I tell you what, just a great approach by Mendoza right here. Something middle away. I tell you what, that young man has got some kind of off-field backside. Been a double play, but because of his speed and his wheels, even though he hesitated after making sure he got through, he's able to get to third base.
102 off the bat. And here comes head coach Jay Johnson. And when Max Ballou comes back to the plate, he'll be facing an LSU reliever. Will it be Schmidt or Ware? And we'll find out when we come back. LSU a 5-2 lead, but Longhorns at the tie and run at the plate. Longhorns at the tie and run at the plate. Madison, Mississippi, transferring in from Pearl River Community College. Began the year in that midweek starter role, but now in the bullpen, and he was pretty good against Missouri last week. Across 2 appearances, he threw up 2 hitless and scoreless innings. So Max Ballou, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, a chance to drive in a run for Texas. 18 homers last year, tied for the team lead. Off to a great start this year. No one else Texas would want up. And it gets away from Hernandez, streaking home and scoring Gasparino.
Well, Texas did it the half inning before with a wild pitch, and now LSU returns the favor with the first pitch from Ware. And you're right, it allows Gasparino to score from third. Moves Mendoza into second base in the scoring position as well. You know, and LSU going to Ware, playing the odds, you know, left-handed hitters are only hitting 118 off of him. I'll tell you what, he just couldn't get his glove there. Hernandez couldn't get his glove there in time. He pulled it down low and just wasn't able to get there. But going back to what we were saying, they're playing the odds here, that left-left matchup. Now Max Ballou, on the other hand, hit 250 off a left-handed pitch. I mean, he sees enough of it.
One pitch. Peel down to third. Angel Campos says that Ballou held up 2-1. By the way, they've scored that a passed ball on Hernandez.
Yeah, I didn't think it hit the turf until it got right below the glove, and that's usually the common denominator of the choice between wild pitch or pass ball.
Inside. 3-1 on Ballou, and LSU, they got 3 men on the right side of the infield. It's kind of a rock and a hard place, huh? You got 3-1 count, but you got the left-left matchup.
Yeah, you do, and depending on how this ends, as to whether they stay with him or go to somebody right-handed with Flores on deck.
Ends with a walk. So tying runs are aboard now for Texas here in the bottom of the 5th. And as you said, Jalen Flores now.
against right-handed hitters, which is why they brought him in to face Flores. And he's only given up, a batting average of 156 versus right-handed hitters. Now he's going to be facing one of the better right-handed hitting shortstops in the country in Jalen Flores. But again, Jay Johnson going to playing the averages, going left with the left-left matchup to Blue, and now the right-right matchup with Flores.
When Schmidt was coming out of Catholic high school, MLB.com said he had the best curveball in his entire high school class across the country. Jalen Flores, the time, runs aboard. And there's a fastball at 94, catches the corner.
Most disputed moment in any sport is a strike or a check swing. I mean, it just it depends on where you are as who's the most upset.
Russ forced, Mendoza to third. That's a big second out.
Well, it is, and they went after Jalen Flores with fastballs away, and coming out of that 6'4" frame, he ran those two fastballs straight downhill, got the call on the first one, and went right back to it again on the second pitch, and got an induced a ground ball over to second baseman Dickinson.
Well, chance for a 2-out RBI, and the way Rylan Galvan has been swinging it, it seems like a good option for Texas.
Well, he's an RBI in the box right now with all the home runs he's been in on a streaking with over the last couple of games. Something happened in the middle of they call it a pitch count or pitch clock.
Jim Schlossnagel was out of the dugout ready to protest it. So that's going to be a 1-0 count on Galvan. Junior from
target. He's got to communicate with his third baseman, Brad Hazer, across the field.
Got a big arm, Stephen Milam. Call him the monster. He's been terrorizing ground balls tonight. He shifts over to the right side against Max Ballou. There's a called strike, and now Connor Benge is right where Max Grubbs was. A chance to throw up the first 0 in a few innings, but some 2-out hitting for LSU, including that home run from Derek Curiel, spoiled that.
Well, we talked about he had some walks in his background, and this does. His stat line will tell you that, but we haven't seen it tonight. I mean, it's been, and look, he brought him into a bases-loaded situation. Like, hey, here it is. You want to get out there, here you go. And he's responded with a bunch of strikes. Good command.
It's a quality miss right there. Yeah, for Benge so far, it's been 12 pitches, 9 strikes. One-two. Blue lofts one out of play.
Well, he got away with one. He made a mistake. He threw that ball middle in. He was trying to elevate in a 1-2 count to go to the top of the triangle. You can see him shaking his head. His catcher, Hernandez, was getting after, not getting after him, just getting his attention about, hey, and they were trying to go up. That's a dangerous miss to Ballou.
Hernandez set up high. That pitch wasn't quite as high as Hernandez won.
And last year, the beginning of the year, wasn't an everyday lineup guy. Then all of a sudden he got in there, Ballou that is, and I mean just exploded. And just, you thought, man, well, maybe he's always been a good-looking hitter. Man, his BP is so impressive, but I mean, last year just took off, and I mean, you just couldn't get him out. And he did a lot of that. He had a lot of foul balls, long at-bats, had a lot of confidence. Somewhere starting around mid-March, and then, you know, moving on the rest of the year, he started getting late into counts, and then wasn't afraid to get into 2-strike battles, and then a guy make a mistake, and he didn't miss him. He was as close to a pro-looking hitter last year, the second half of the year, as you would find.
And he's fighting Benge tooth and nail here. This next pitch will be the 9th.
Look, he's not fighting off 91, 92 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He's fighting off 97, executed on the outer half of the plate.
Good battle here. 2-2. And a grounder slapped sharply out to second. Dickinson's there. And LSU is headed back to the dugout. 1-2-3 from Connor Benge. Tigers ahead by 1. We go to the 7th. 1-2-3 from Connor Benge. Tigers ahead by 1.
Elevated, but all adds up the same. And you're right, we have had some offense in the last 3 1/3 innings, or 2 1/3 innings. We've had some offense.
So top of the 7th, Jake Brown, who came in as a pinch hitter in the 5th and singled home a run, now faces Max Grubbs for the 2nd time and takes a called strike. And between all that, the Jared Jones single, 110 off the bat.
Yeah, no, well, as far as velocity, yeah, below out of the barrel. But the one that was hit a little bit lighter, not much, counted for the run. And that was the home run, the opposite field homer.
Grubbs ahead 0-2. That's splitter, man. Serious stuff. And now they're saying that Brown got a piece of it.
Well, Brown knew it all the time. He didn't. Yeah, he. Another look at it.
That pitch has such downward action, I suppose. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Stays alive, though, 0-2. Big day in the Brown household. LSU, Texas tonight. Both his parents went to McNeese State. Playing the NCAA tournament today. Purdue knocked him out, though.
Boy, that's a fun story. I mean, they coming out of the Southland, haven't had a ton of success in the NCAA back now. Baseball's a different story.
Yeah.
And in basketball, and then you get out there and they go win. The coach already knows he's going somewhere else. That's modern day athletics as we see the count now full. And Brown's laid off a couple of secondary pitches, a couple of splitters and a breaker. Now he's worked himself into a full count.
Payoff pitch. Lofted into left. Farmer's measured and secures it.
And he went back to the breaker this time, a little slider. Got Brown out in front of it just a little bit. Lazy routine fly ball to left field. But yeah, going back to that, I mean, the McNeese thing was fun to watch. If you're a McNeese fan, it was fun to watch. And then, yeah, he's leaving to go to North Carolina State, right? Isn't that right? And then some of the players as well. But you couldn't tell when they won. The president and the AD and everybody was celebrating as they should. I mean, that's a big moment. That's college athletics nowadays.
And ball 1 on Stephen Milam. I think regardless of everything that's changed since you stopped coaching just 5-6 years ago now, the passion on the field is still there, and the elation in the eyes is still hard to beat.
Hey, man, that's why we do it. I mean, come on. Winning is winning, and the emotion that goes with it, the amount of effort that goes into it prior to it. You heard Rocket talking about it earlier and how much, he put into it, and all these guys do, all these programs do. These coaches year-round, you kidding me? They do nothing but work year-round.
No, I think that's a really good point. They're working as hard as ever.
Well, I mean, looking at 50-something weekend year, baseball coaches are working 45 of them, right? And now add the portal in there, and you're adding even that much more to their days. And it's, it's college athletics and the NIL. So these coaches are going out and raising NIL money too now. Don't kid yourself. That's a lot to this. If you're going to be on the forefront, you got to get ahead of it. You don't want to play chase in athletics now, in college athletics.
2-2 rolled into right field past Mendoza. Base hit for Stephen Milam. It's only right after the couple of plays he made in the field he earns a base hit.
Now, it looked like they had Milam in a 2-strike approach alignment with the defense. They were shaded away from him, not to the pool side. As he'll sit in there. We'll get another look. Mendoza has to go see how they deeper in the middle. They were thinking at 2 strikes he'd hit the ball back up the middle and the other way.
So a 1-out knock. Here's Josh Pearson. Hacking at the first pitch, and that got a piece of David Susi, maybe on the right hand. Oof.
Yeah, that hurts. Oh man, that is some kind of painful. And you get those hands involved, and it's not the foot. You sit there and you try to walk it off. Get a second look at it if you want to. Oh! Ouch!
Remember that in?
It's like having a car door slammed on your finger. You can look on his face and see this is going to take a little bit. It is. That's just like getting a car door slammed on you.
You see,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, Ryan Galvan returning the pitch counter.
Yeah, look, those guys. You're an umpire and your catcher. You're back there together protecting each other. You really are. You're working as hard as you can to do the best you can, and maybe the sting is coming down off there a little bit. You can see the other umpire talking to him about it. He's giving him. Well, you get the sense of how he felt about that ball hitting him on the finger, right? I can assure you, I would have felt the same way.
Dave Susi's a gamer, baby. He says, you know what, I can finish this.
I would be anxious to see where he puts that hand when he gets down in the stands,
No
whether he puts it behind his back, or I'd stick it in my back pocket if I was him.
Well, let's see, what is he going to do here? It still works. He points out to the mound.
Going right back where he goes.
Sure
I love it.
Maybe peeked it a little bit of the right.
He did slide over. I'm telling you, it would have been in my back pocket.
100% in a fist as well. Was it they say it just means more? It's a ball and strike here on Pearson. Off goes Milam, and he is out. They got him. Galvan down to Flores.
It's a good catch and throw by Galvan. It's a great tag by Jalen Flores, too. We'll get another look at this. Flores has got to come from the second base side. The ball's on the other side, on the shortstop side of second. He does a great job of catching it. And look at him apply the tag, chase the runner with his glove, keep his eye on the slider, and apply the tag.
So now 2 down. And Texas will shift now. Adrian Rodriguez moves from third base over to the second base spot. Mendoza into shallow right, and Flores still on the left side. And that hit him.
Now 2 innings in a row now for Texas. They get 2 quick outs and unable to close out the inning. First time in the inning before in the 6th. Not able to come up with a play in the error. And then this time get him in the 0-2 count. And in the 1-2 count, it hits him on the foot.
Gives Luis Hernandez a shot, transfer from Indiana State. Homer off his former teammate last night, Jared Spencer.
Well, he's seen, if anybody knew what it looked like coming in there, it was him, right? There's no telling how many pitches he saw last year.
Although he did say after the game last night, Ty is looking for a fastball and ended up with a good swing on a high slider.
He knew the trajectory of him and how it was going to act.
Yeah, he'd seen it before. There's a called strike. Max Grubbs approaching 60 pitches. He's worked 2 2/3 so far for Texas. And that retires the side. It's time to stretch here at Dish Falk Field. LSU, a 1-run lead.
15 runs scored, 13 RBIs, and the only reason why it's not more RBIs, he's a bunch of solos in there, right? Just think if it had been some guys on it ahead of him, but a young man that went from hitting in the 8, 7, 8, and 9 hole, 2 or 3 weeks ago, to moving him up into the order, hitting in the 4th spot tonight and last night, and why not? As hot as he is, with the power.
He will bat second in this half inning. Jalen Flores first. Feels like the game has taken at least a breath after we were seeing back and forth right hooks. Flores all over that one, but yanks it foul.
Well, speaking of hooks, he got a breaker right there and hooked it into the left field, and looks like a guy right out of Yellowstone might have caught it. He's got it. Yeah. I wouldn't go take it from him.
I don't know. This part of town, it might be more landman.
Well, you talking about just smothering a breaker. We get a second look at this. Breaker middle in, and everybody was running after it.
I'm not sure this guy in the scooter knew it was coming.
I'm going to tell you what, I think he did, because that thing was a blast.
So now, here's Rylan Galvan, who takes a called strike.
If you go back and watch it, if we get another look, you can watch Curiel on this, the left fielder for LSU. The moment it was hit, he didn't even move. He knew it as good as anybody.
Well, sometimes you'll get that courtesy jog. I'm not sure there's much Derek Curiel could do about that. And now, as the crowd livens up, looks like Luis Hernandez asked for time behind home plate.
Well, he was about to run out of time on the pitch clock. And so they called timeout.
Texas trying to even this series. LSU has won 18 straight. Down and away, 1-1. Beg your pardon, 17 straight, bidding for 18 straight. Two and one. We saw Galvan work himself into a 3-1 count before that home run. There's Johnson on the walkie-talkie out of the bullpen in left field. Slashed foul, 96.
Well, I like the idea. You brought it up earlier. This is a heavyweight fight. I mean, both these teams getting after it. A lot of emotion out here in the bleachers, in the dugout, on the field.
Two from Benge.
And I mean, again, throws another laser across the field. Got him. What if he was on his feet? Would have been by about a half a step.
Mm-hmm. So one down. Now Adrian Rodriguez takes ball one.
I mean, you think for a second what that represents, the idea that Texas just hits a homer with Flores. They got momentum again. Crowd's back in it. You make an error right there, and he doesn't get that ball and doesn't have that throw. All of a sudden, you got a runner on first. Now you got more momentum.
And this place is going nuts. Benge falls behind 2-0. He's fun to watch, man. Of course, everyone in the country saw Milam last year during the postseason, that walk-off homer to get LSU to the SEC title game against South Carolina, and the walk-off homer in the regional against Wofford. He can play some shortstop now, though.
He's been a highlight tonight. He has. 2 unreal plays in 1 inning, and then stays with that ball, showing off his arm again.
There's a strike. Does it feel like Benge has slowed down his tempo a little bit to you?
Yeah, maybe. I think it may have to do with he's throwing a couple balls out of the zone. But and now Rodriguez just got him in a hitter's count, and he knew it too. He took a swing like it too. That barrel was roaring through there. That fastball was just far enough away. He wasn't able to stay on it enough. It was a big swing at a big fastball.
Threw it 3-1. Will he throw it 3-2? He sure did. Ooh, that was a hot shot. My man's working hard. Oh, he's trying to box him out.
Oh, he's got a little, and he's got a little one in his arms and his hands too.
Kid's like, I really want the baseball. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it. Oh, now is this mom telling him you got to give the ball to the younger kid? Three-two.
You live with the shift and you die with the shift. We've seen it go both ways tonight. Texas early in the shift benefited from it defensively. Later on, didn't, with a little blooper over the shortstop. This time, it's not how hard you hit it sometimes. It is where you hit it.
I'm going to ask you a question that the answer is really it depends on the guy, but just speaking in broad strokes, when you coached into the era of the shift, did you find that some of these college pitchers that had been working with it and familiar with it through their youth were a little more okay with balls leaking through the shift? I guess more willing to believe in it as opposed to maybe an older generation that was a little against it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think they just understood that, you took some balls away earlier, or I'm sure it probably enters their mind. The shift just got really popular in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Used to, we would do it with power hitters to try to, because then they'd say, well, hit a ball the other way. Well, I would want you to hit a ball the other way. I'd love for you to slow your barrel down, right? And not try to hit a homer. But now, I mean, it got so prevalent in the last 5 years.
Okay.
And again, it's data driven because you get so many scouting reports. Games like tonight, we're watching it, guys are charting, and you can get information. You can buy the information about, where balls were hit.
Scott. Gotta wonder if that wind was playing with it a little bit, blowing sharply towards left.
Well, there's a lot of wind. That ball hung up there a long time. I thought that somebody would get to this. I thought it would be Stanfield, but he's playing pretty deep. Reading back, and in the end, he's sliding, trying to make a great catch. But good base running. He was halfway like he's taught, and then gets to second base. Now, if he caught it, he was going to have enough space. He'd hustle back because he would have had to throw it from the ground.
Good base running there by the freshman. Jay Johnson has already made the call down to the bullpen. And LSU will hand the ball over to their new arm.